Hey man, what it is? This is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means. There go to PayPal at Deem by any means. There go to Cash App. $ Dean by any means. You already know what I'm about to say. I don't care if you leave $5, $500, $5,000. It's much, much, much appreciated. Hey y'all, y'all know we cover everything, and I just wanted to say 160 can be popping, but we just need these fights. Let's talk about it, man. As we all know, how historic the 160 division has been in boxing, period. The 160 division up until this point has probably been one of the most consistent, memorable, um, just staples of boxing. Like the 160 division, the middleweight division, the real middleweight division, not these sub divisions, the real middleweight division, which is 160 pounds, has always gave us big fights, has always been anytime boxing was at its best, that division was doing very, very well. I'm not here to give you a history lesson. You could do that yourself if you're a real boxing fan and think about it. But and we need 160 to get back to that. And y'all, I truly believe what I've been seeing. I've been sitting back, I've been doing some more research, I've been watching, I've just been very curious. And the 160 division has at least three or four major fights that I think would be truly, truly exciting. Fight of the year candidates, things that would get us talking about the 160 division and starting to look at their prospects. But the 160 division has to do what 175 is doing, where you have to put the best up against the best because y'all don't have enough prospects behind that to mix and match where it will have everybody on your side as far as like wanting to see certain fights. Now, I think if somebody tries to be undisputed at 160, I think that will give that division even more light, the actual light that it needs. If we can get Adamos, if we could get Janet back, Jamal, Laura, and get all of these guys fighting. Janet Beck already got 2 belts. Jamal has the WBA, I believe. Let me check. Hold on, y'all. Let me check. Give me a second, y'all. Because I really, really like all of these fighters, actually, especially at the top. No, Jamal has the WBC. Him and Carlos Adames. Yeah, that's how you say his name, right, yo? Carlos Adames. So he has the super belt, and I believe Carlos Adames has the he has the franchise. I believe Carlos Adames has, the regular WBC belt. Whatever. I hate calling it regular, but the world champion WBC belt. Then you got Laura there at the WBA. Then you got Janet Beck who holding the IBF and Janet Beck holding the WBO. Him being a left-handed fighter, Janet Beck also, Laura being a left-handed fighter, Adamas, Carlos can switch hit, but Carlos is a heavy punching, just pit bull dog in the ring. And Laura is the oldest, he's in his early 40s. But I mean, y'all just saw what he did not that long ago with that knockout in the second round. That was beautiful, I might add. That is, for all southpaws, that is how you want to land a straight left on somebody. Night, night, every time, guaranteed. So at the end of the day, y'all, if we can get those four fighters to mismatch and fight each other, because all of them are older. So all of them, I think Adamas might be the youngest. Don't correct me on that, but I think he's the youngest, Carlos. But everybody else is literally in their prime and need it right now. Need that spotlight on the division to keep boxing in a good space where we like, hold on, we talking about 154, 147, 140, 135, 160 popping a little bit. That's what I think that if Bob Arum and them is smart and the PBC is smart, these are things that they would get done because, like I said, I would love to see Laura versus Janet Beck. I would love to see Jamal versus Carlos. Or I would love to see Jamal versus Janet Beck and Laura against Carlos. I would love to see all of those fights, mix it, match it. However, I just need those fights to get done this year. And I think that Laura I really don't. I think Laura is getting at an age where he actually doesn't have no choice. So he has all the reason to do it. Janabek don't have that many fights, and he's older, 31, 32 years old. So he has all the reason to do it. Jamal just came back off of off a good performance, even though he's drinking in the club. So if you any of them other fighters, this would be the perfect time to try to get him out the way. And Carlos, he's the guy outside looking in, but is a notable name, is somebody you got to deal with that punching power, with that speed, just with that relentlessness that he brings. And I believe all of those fights are, I don't think you can make any of them main events, but if you made all of them co-mains this year on all of these big cards, on these big fights that certain promotional companies, especially Top Rank, is going to be putting on. Because you could, I mean, for Top Rank on a Thursday, these could definitely be main event fights. On a Thursday, Friday night fight, these fights can definitely be main events. But I'm talking about Saturday pay-per-view. They would have to be co-main events, all of them. Even it didn't even matter how you would miss and match it. That part don't matter. They would be co-main events. But I think they would be great co-main events to have on a card for these big fights, man. I think it'll help Jamal Charlo. I think it'll help Carlos. I think it'll help Laura. I think it'll help Janabek. They all have good reasons why right now, 2024, 2025 is the year that they need to unify and we actually find out who's the best at 160. Certain things marinate for a while. With Jamal being off as long as he's been, Laura's age, Janabek age, but with his not having that much experience as everybody else, and Carlos over there being the fourth man, the odd man out every day trying to fight for his respect. Those fights need to happen. Because, like I said, especially if I'm Janabek, because Janabek can taste undisputed. He right there. He just need to fight two. He just need two of them. So I really think it's in everybody's best interest at that division to get the money that they want, to actually get because none of them are big names besides Jamal. And Jamal's not even a big name with everything that he has going on. Actually, I think it's more intrigued just from all of the things surrounding him more than actually him, the fighter itself. It used to be like that at one point, but it's not quite like that now. So I really think now is the time in 2024 to get the 160 division back popping, y'all. Because those fights, trust me, y'all, will be great fights. I'm talking about great fights. All of those fights have a chance to be candidate for fight of the year type fights. So anytime I see that, and then I see it like from every single fighter that's at that division, that's the top four guys that I'm talking about, all of those guys have reasons to want this to happen, actually. They don't have time to spare. They don't got time to let it marinate. They ain't got time for all that. Or you'll be Arthur Beterbiev and be 39 and your name is just really buzzing out here. You don't want to be like that. You don't want to be like that. And Arthur Beterbiev is my guy. That's one of my favorite fighters. But at the end of the day, but I've because I'm a hardcore boxing fan and have come to notice him over the last about 4 years. Just seeing him on co-mains and things like that, like, yo, who the Russian bull? And then it starts like that. You understand? But his name should have been out years ago. But when you're not getting the fights, when you're taking time off, when they're not pushing your name, these are the things that happen. And all of these fighters, I truly believe, because 160 is the one division we not talking about. We talk about 175 because David Benavidez is going up there. Arthur Beterbiev is up there. Dimitri Bivol, undisputed. We talk about that. We talk about the 154 division. Bud, Earl, y'all already know. We talk about 147 down there with Jerron Ennis. Is Bud going to drop the belts? Who's going to be the next superstar at 147? Blase Blah, Cody Crowley. When you going to come out? When Stanionis and them going to fight again? Blase Blah. These are things that we talk about. We definitely talk about the 140 and 135 division. The 130 division, not as much, but all it takes is for that to get rolling a little bit, and we'll be talking about the 130 division also a lot more. You dig what I'm saying? Because you got young guys down there like Shoo Shoo and then you got Carmel Moten down there at the 120. You got newer guys that's getting a name for themselves around those divisions. 160 need to put the pressure on and give us back what we need for boxing, because when 160 is popping, when 160 is like, it's never a time where 160 should not be a popping division. Out of all of them, 160 should always pop more than 155, 154. But that's not quite the situation. And it's not because it's just from lack of stars, but it's not from lack of good fighters in that division. It's not from lack of entertaining fighters. It's just the way that they pushing them, and there's no storylines around these guys. And a lot of these guys don't speak English, and the whole nine. It's a bunch of different reasons. But I am telling you, if you get Lara versus Janabek, you get Jamal versus Carlos. Great fights right there. Then the winner of those face each other. And then so forth and so forth. Then the losers could face the loser of each other, where you keep it rolling or mismatch it however you want to. But I guarantee if you got 2 to 3 of those fights in 1 year, it'll get the ball rolling. It'll get people noticing just how much talent is there. You forgot about Janabek. Janabek's a pretty good fighter. Yes, he is. Very bouncy, very athletic, very agile, active, throws his hands, good IQ. He's somebody you need to pay attention to. Carlosadames, very powerful, speedful, explosive, somebody you need to be paying attention to. He's a knockout artist. He's going to put somebody to bed. Jamal Charlo, I don't have to go over what he is. Y'all already know what Jamal Charlo is. And Lara is a patient southpaw that's been doing this for years and is a live dog in any of these fights. He might be the guy that got the most losses, but he also the guy that got the most experience. He also the guy that got the most poise. He also the guy that's probably the biggest wild card of all of them, because you know he could knock out all of them. For sure. Guaranteed. He could definitely do that. All it takes is one left, and he's very patient, where it's like he will set you up. That's one thing Lara does very well. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man, about the 160 division, man. You know I love boxing. I just want to see that division back where it need to be, because when that division is popping, it seems like everything else just falls into place. It's like that heavyweight division. When you got the heavyweight division and the 160 division popping, it just seems like everything else works out a little bit better. When welterweight is popping, it just seems like boxing is better. So y'all already know what this is, man. Dean by any means, and I holla at y'all.